ready?
Yes, we are ready now.
Sounds good. So 1, 2, 3, go. Hello, everyone. Good morning, afternoon, evening, from wherever it is that you are joining us from. I am Abigail Gabriels, CEO of Lobbybase here in Maryland, United States. And today we are presenting to you, and I'm hosting a webinar. And this webinar series with the Lobbybase team here, we're resolving teacher absenteeism with a classroom check-in for teachers on Lobbybase. And if you are a school administrator, if you are a school manager, if you're an educator, if you manage a group of schools, regardless of the number of locations that you are managing, you know this is a major issues. And some of the benefits that we bring to you today is we're discussing strategies and also some tools to use to decrease the number of absenteeism, lateness to classrooms, inadequate reporting or inaccurate reporting from the teacher side to get things moving. Some of the problems that has been recorded that is being recorded constantly is how to decrease and how to lower absenteeism of teachers in the classroom. And these are some of the important topics that we're covering today. So with me today, before I go into a team intro, quick agenda. This is a short one as well. We do combine security and technology expert solutions here at Lobbybase. And we will be going through some of our expert recommendations on how to resolve the teacher absenteeism with our classroom check-in solutions. And also there would be the opportunity for questions and answers. And we also will be able to take some of those questions in this segment. For the questions that we're not able to take right now, we will still work on them, and somebody from the team will be reaching out to you for other questions. So here we go. We do have myself hosting the webinar, and also with me today we have the president of Lobbybase, Ebenezer Gabriels, here with us, a technology expert, has worked with higher institutions, all kinds of K-12, has consulted for educational outfits, educational organization in terms of software, hardware, to resolve a lot of problems. And myself, I keep talking to school educators all the time, educators, school administrators, on how we can resolve the problems they're facing. And also with me today, we have a team member, Damien. Damien is on the implementation and onboarding team. And we are all here today to discuss how we resolve the problems. So Damien, over to you.
Yes, hi everyone. So the school system, especially onboarding school, require teachers to be in classroom at different types. Educators seek to improve teachers' productivity, ensure teacher safety at all times. There is nothing much I can say, so I would basically hand it over to Ebenezer, that is a little bit more knowledgeable about the system.
Yeah, sounds good. Over to you, Ebenezer.
All right. Again, thank you so much for having me. You guys are really doing great work getting the word out there and helping all the educators and also the school administrators who are crying out for help in terms of how to adequately support their teachers. So yeah, we do have a few items that we need to talk about today. The unreachable teachers, teachers going AWOL, teacher proxy, I stand for you, you stand for me kind of scenario of teachers, and then lateness to classrooms, and then inaccurate report. So I'm going to quickly go over each of these items. So essentially, I'm going to quickly show you one of the devices that we have here. I don't know if you can see this. This is one of our beacon products. All right, so that is um, a location beacon. Right, you can actually see that we also have one of this NFC tag. Yeah, one of this NFC tags that you can actually have on your location. So essentially, when we and this is how we actually resolve a lot of these scenarios. So in a short while, you're going to see what those things are used for. I like this classroom photo. Anyways, so essentially, when you see situations where teachers go AWOL, you're trying to reach teachers, you can't reach them as an administrator. This is a challenge. It's a major issue. Sometimes it's not really that the teachers decide to disappear, although you have situations where teachers have an emergency, they have to quickly do something and they're unreachable. But oftentimes, sometimes as a result of improper schedule, a teacher might be scheduled to be in one class at a time, and but they may have the schedule mixed up, and go to another class. So this can create a false alarm, and the school administrator might be thinking, hey, what happened to our fifth grade teacher who's supposed to be taking sciences? With and they may record this teacher as absent, right? But this individual might actually be somewhere else. So how do you resolve this? So for Lobbybase, we have these beacons that we've talked about. So essentially, in your facility, depending on how big it is, uh, we have different kinds of check-in, checkpoints, we call them. So in a classroom, you can either choose to have like a beacon station where the teacher who has been added to the through the Lobbybase console, and they carry the mobile device like we have the mobile app called the Workforce app for the teacher. So once they get this app installed and set up with their teacher profile, the only thing they need to do, if we have the beacon set up in the class, or so most of the time we actually use a combination of the beacon and the NFC tag. So the beacon, because of its um, the distance that it can cover, it can get up to 200 meters in terms of coverage, right? So a teacher does not have to be in that actual spot for them to be covered in the range of that beacon. So that could lead to some false alarm. It could be in the next class, but when this is coupled with the NFC tag in the same location, so this NFC tag, they have a distance of about 10 centimeters. So the teacher will have to be in the class, and once the teacher is in the class with their mobile phone, they can do what? They can, with that app, touch the NFC tag. So essentially, once they touch the NFC tag, they can do a demo on camera here. I do have this device, this iPhone device. You can see this. I do have this NFC tag. All right, so this is already pre-configured. If I just tap this like this, you should see something come up like that. That is how easy it is. And you see this go to Lobbybase already. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, so that is essentially what happened. So it's as easy as that. On the device again, you have the NFC tag in there. Just tap it. You see that? It will come up with that alert, and that's it. They just have to accept that they are logging in. And that's it. I'll do it one more time, just for say get it. You have that. This is going to be fixed on the wall, and then with the mobile device, you can just tap that. Okay, now that's yes. So you see that come up with a notification there, and that's essentially what can happen. So the teacher can actually go to the classroom, tap on that NFC tag that is already attached to the wall, and boom, they are checked in. So you know where your teachers are all the time. No more cases of teacher going AWOL, and there you go. So quickly, I'm going to move to the next point, which is the teacher proxy. Teacher proxy is also very common, especially in government schools, sadly, government schools, public schools. Um, Sometimes depend on the region. Uh, Actually, having said that, some government schools could be uh, places where you actually have very good management. So this is not only limited to government, but so in any way, in any scenario where there is improper management, you can have this problem of teacher proxy. Oh, I need to go do an errand today. Can you stand in for me? And then, so to avoid this, to eliminate this, um, we have a functionality on the workforce app, uh, which once the teacher is set up with, what they get to do is that they can actually, once they check in on this at this in the classroom, you as an administrator can actually request a photo evidence, all right, a photo, the evidence of their check-in. Okay, so also as an administrator, you can create a custom workflow for when a teacher checks in. Do you want them to check to just do a regular check-in, or do you want them to check in with a video, or check in with a photo, or do you want them to check in with a custom form? Right, you can do whatever you want to through the console. So I would support all different kinds of workflows. So, and essentially for teacher proxy, this is how you resolve it. You enforce a photo check-in plus maybe a video check-in. So once they check in at that classroom, the photo is there, the video is there, and there you go. Nobody can stand in the place of the other teacher. You have the correct teacher standing in the right class. And then we also have this smart feature called Liveness Detection, because sometimes the issue that happens when people try to request for photo or request for video is that people can actually try to trick the device, trick the app by just playing a video of just showing an already taken photo, right? So we have the liveness detection. So it would actually detect if the teacher is actually really there, if they're alive. It's almost similar to the kind of technology that FaceTime devices use. So we do have that inbuilt. So you can be sure that if teacher James is the one checking in, it is teacher James, right? So that is how Lobbybase resolves the issue of teacher proxy. Now I'm going to quickly move on to the next item, which is at lateness to classrooms. So lateness to classroom has also been an issue for a lot of educators. Sometimes the previous class they were in took a longer time, and now they're going to the next class, especially in school systems where you have teachers with a specific subject to teach. For example, this could be a science teacher who gets rotated in different classes, right? So they go from one class to the other to the other. What happens is that the students might have questions in their previous class, so they may take a while, and before you know it, they may. So it actually happens quite often. So the way to visit this can be resolved, especially through Lobbybase, is a functionality called reminders, right? Alerts. Right? So the teacher can actually see when their next class is due, how to get to their next class, because if Lobbybase is fully implemented in your facility, okay, all the beacons they are properly tagged to the correct classrooms, so we can actually have an indoor map of your school. But the indoor map of your school, the teacher can see, okay, I mean, obviously they know how to get there, but if this is a new teacher who doesn't know how to get there, you can remind them, and based on the different locations of the beacon, will show how long it takes to get to the next class, and when it's time for them to actually leave where they are right now. So this really, really helps to avoid lateness. And obviously, if the teacher still decides to stay, then you cannot really help it, so because, yeah. So, but that is how Lobbybase resolves that issue. And as an administrator, you can also set up multiple reminders to say maybe 10 minutes before the next class or 5 minutes to buzz them to remind them. And because educators are always very interesting and very wonderful hearts, right? They love to teach, right? So they want to just continue to to teach their students. So as an administrator, you can always remind them, oh, this is your next class, and they get that reminder from the device, and they have to interact with it. And there are times where you can actually send them a ping to ensure that they respond. And the moment they respond, they're good, right? Because now you know that they got the message, and then you know that they are ready for the next class. And sometimes also they can set reminders for, say, for tests, for all these kind of things. So essentially, Lobbybase uses reminders to alert the teachers to get to their next class so that they will not be late to those classes. All right, and the last point we have here is inaccurate reports. So reporting is very, very important, especially in this day and age where there is the hybrid of on-site schools and those on-site teaching, the student come on-site, and those who are remote where you have a hybrid of both. It is important to know the amount of students that are actually in your class. You might have a manifesto of the register, right? Okay, you have 10 students, right? But today you have 9. Might be wondering why is there a shortage, so within the Lobbybase app itself, as a teacher, your teacher just can see the register of the students, and they can also mark the attendance right there. So what all this does is that it allows you as a school administrator to be able to see if to use the tool that you have given to your teachers to also confirm and multiple confirm that the students that are supposed to be in class are there. Yes, we're thankful that you might have surveillance already using the video system, but the teachers with the app can also do, they can eyeball the student, and they can confirm that these students are in the class. So, and that is the kind of report that you don't get from anywhere. Surveillance is very good in the sense that you catch, you see, you can always go back to see what's going on, but real-time feedback, say, okay, and perhaps maybe a student is not feeling well. From within the app itself, the teacher can actually do an incident report right there, to say, I noticed that this student is looking pale or something like this, and also within the app as well, the administrator can configure this to allow the teachers to have access to the student profile. So, for example, there are schools where they have different meals, even so the teacher can actually quickly pull up a student from within the app and see what their allergies are. For example, maybe a student that doesn't eat groundnut or doesn't eat something, right? So they can quickly do all those things. And if anything is going on, they can quickly do their report in there. And once they're done in class as well, they can take their note. So this is an extensive tool for your educators. Never again miss any report, never again miss any important things that your educators are trying to communicate to you as an administrator. So this is an all-inclusive system, especially for you, the administrator. Wherever you are, you can see in real time, or at least near real time, what is happening in your institution, and then you can get all your teachers and all other non-teaching staffs as well to interact and to collaborate and to also communicate using the same very tools. All right, so this will essentially take away all these barriers and allow you to have a functional team, a functional a system that you can call your own. I think we have been able to do justice to that, but I'm open to your questions.
Sounds like a lot covered already, but before I hand over to Damien, also one of the areas I wanted to also add is that for Lobbybase, we do have solutions where you can integrate your entire teacher policy as a checklist into the apps, such that when teachers come into the classroom, they actually run through a workflow. This is what I'm supposed to do, check in, or this is what I'm supposed to do throughout my shift in the classroom. And teachers can check mark what it is that they have completed. So this is not only about location checking into a classroom, it is also like President Ebenezer was saying that coming into the classroom, whether they're supposed to take notes, that's a checklist, that's a workflow. They put in their notes, they put in their observations. They also put a note, for example, maybe for the next teacher coming in and things like this. So all this can be integrated together. So this is not only a location-based check-in tool, it's also a way to manage your teacher engagement policy within policies within the classroom. So over to you, Damien.
Yes, thank you. So I found a few questions. One of them was, what if a teacher loses the device to use the system? What can he do?
Can you take that again? Sorry, I think I missed. What if a teacher does what?
What if a teacher loses the device to use the system? I think it's referred to the phone.
Okay, loses the device. Well, can always replace the device. But the thing about losing a device is that, well, I'll talk about it from the security perspective. So apart from the loss of the actual device, your data is secure. Since we have, what is it called, on-device encryption, that is, the data that is stored on the device is actually stored in the secure enclave of the system itself. I use some proprietary technology to actually store, encrypt the data on the device. So it is actually useless to whoever finds it. I mean, apart from the fact that your phone is lost. So, but if they do lose their device, hopefully they can find a new one. But it's very easy to issue a new device and to just copy over the what's it called, the profile of that teacher. Does that make sense?
Another question was, does the phone need a stable internet connection? That was also a question.
Right, yeah. So for real-time communication, so the good thing is that, well, the answer is yes and no. If you do require a real-time monitoring of your facility, right, of your workforce, your teachers, and to be able to offer them help in real time, yes, the phone needs to be connected over the internet. And again, this doesn't use a lot of bandwidth. If you already have internet connection in your school, there's high probability that Lobbybase can share the same thing. So if you want real time, but there are times where you might lose connection as well. Not to worry. The check-in, the locate, all the check-in, and all the report will still be saved safely on the device itself. Okay, we'll save on the device itself until the next internet connection is available. It packages the local data together and then sends that data on an encrypted transmission line as well to the console, so that you don't lose any data. And once that is done, a sync is complete and the device becomes empty again. Does that make sense?
All right. Another question was, does it need any wiring? And if not, how the system is all connected together?
Right. So like I was showing earlier, So there are different ways of setting up your classroom for Lobbybase, right? So, and those checkpoints, those classrooms, right? We have four major ways to actually identify that a teacher is in the classroom to for that checkpoint. The first way is using a QR code. So when you go to the console, tap on your spaces, you can create a new space, which is a new class. And in that space, what you do is that you add that new space, right? And then you can create a new QR code if you're using the QR code method. So once the QR code is created for that new space, make sure you properly identify that space. Maybe it's grade 5 science classroom or something like this. Just make sure we know on what floor it is so that it's easily identifiable. Remember, you're going to be using this later, right? So put as much description as possible. So once that is done, you can easily print the QR code, which you can then install in the classroom itself. You can get one of those from Lobbybase, one of those QR code wall-mounted QR code casing, and insert your QR code in there so the teacher can easily scan that. So that method does not need any power for that classroom. Okay, so but if you're and the next one is using NFC tags. So NFC tags, by design as well, they do not require power. The power that is required is this works through induction. So the mobile device that is actually going to scan or going to read the tag would actually power the NFC at the state of rest. So again, so the NFC doesn't need power as well. But now when you move to beacons, for example, Bluetooth BLE beacons, what happens is that these beacons, right, because they're transmitters, right, they're transmitting, they do require energy, they require power. So for example, this sort of beacon, let me show you this one that we have here. This beacon, for example, would be installed on the wall of the classroom. And but this requires what? A battery. Okay. So these ones actually last for 10 years. This is one of our Lobbybase beacons that once you get it set up, it would stay on for the next 10 years. Okay, so the power requirement is very, 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 very low. But nonetheless, it still requires what is called power, which is batteries. And then, so that is the Bluetooth requirement. But we also have what they call virtual checking, which is the GPS method. So that doesn't require you to put anything there. It's just the mobile device of the teacher can work with that. That's that. The other thing that we see some schools also do is they sometimes have a kiosk in every classroom. So they have a kiosk in every classroom, and with those kiosks, what they can do is that, so that's essentially a kiosk with an iPad and all this, right? So that obviously requires power because the iPad can run out of juice after 8 hours. So that requires for it to be plugged into a constant power source. So yeah, that is the power requirement.
All right. There was also another question. Does it also allow locking doors in terms of an electrical door strike?
Oh yeah, yeah. A very nice question. So Lobbybase would like to say that it's a security brain or the brain for intelligent buildings. So Lobbybase can actually connect to your access management. So essentially, if you have magnetic doors and all sort of sensors in your facility, Lobbybase can actually integrate with every majority of the automatic doors, relay operated doors can actually be connected at Lobbybase. We have a controller that can actually activate doors via relay or via the interface provided. We also integrate with some fire panels if need, So Lobbybase is actually like your, it's like your control center where you can actually attach be it your camera, your doors, and so the short answer to that question is that yes, we can do that. Lobbybase can connect to your door. You can open up your door, lock the door, and sometimes maybe you have a lockdown or whatever, right? Lobbybase can actually activate your doors as well.
All right. I do see one more question, but I think it's got partially answered. Is how is the system able to be deployed over multiple buildings?
Right. So again, there's a functionality on the console called collections, right? So in collections, you can actually create multiple locations. So collection is a holder of multiple spaces, right? So you have unit space. A collection is a holder of multiple spaces. So you can actually have multiple location. When you create a location, you can add multiple sub locations, or you can have multiple locations. So the same console can help you manage different locations. So yes, Lobbybase can manage multiple locations.
All right. I think that's it. I don't see any new questions.
All right. Thank you, Damien. Thank you, Ebenezer. We have had so much time going through this. This was an interesting time. And one of the solutions here that we're providing here that you highlighted, I think some of our educators here are finding very helpful, especially in terms of the different options for classroom check-ins, because this has been a major problem, but from responses that we're receiving. So we definitely thank everyone for attending. We are so thankful that you gave us time to walk through these solutions with you. We definitely hope you join the next check-in webinar series, even as we roll out next topics coming forward. Until then, if you are looking for more information, previous webinars, go on the website for Lobbybase, lobbybase.com/webinar, and all the resources are in there. If you are looking for someone to jump on the call with you, we're right there waiting for your call. The number is also below in the slide. Feel free to dial us, and we're there to work out your needs with you. Again, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. We've really had an interesting time today, and we see you in our next webinar. Thank you, everyone.